So if you're expecting to get 7 or 8 years out of your PlayStation 5 like you did your PS3 or PS4, got some bad news for you. Why did I make a fart sound with my mouth? Skip it up and that up. So the past two, the 7th and 8th gen console generations, have been long. If you think about it, the Xbox 360 launched in late 2005, and it was Microsoft's main console until late 2013 when they released the Xbox One. That's about 8 years. Sony launched the PlayStation 3 in late 2006, and that was their main console until late 2013 when they launched the PlayStation 4. So for the past couple generations, we've been used to having the main console last for almost a decade. But there's information now that the PlayStation 5 ain't going to last that long. It's going to have what I consider, because I'm an old man and I'm used to shorter console generations, it's going to last for only about 5 years, which again is normal. This comes from thegamer.com. According to Digitimes, Sony's Taiwanese supply chain has revealed the PS5's life cycle could be shorter than any other PS console to have come before it. It estimates that it will only last 5 years, by which point we're assuming Sony will be preparing for the release of the PS6. After 7 years of the PS4 and Xbox One, it seems crazy that by this time in 2025, the hype for the PS6 and possibly whatever console Microsoft has planned will be in full swing. There's every chance this isn't the case, of course, and even a possibility that the global pandemic still underway has affected Sony's future plans. COVID-19 might not have delayed the release of the PS5, but the knock-on effect could impact the PlayStation 6. So it's interesting to me that half a decade is considered a short lifespan. Because I think back, even Sony's consoles themselves, they launched in the States the original PlayStation in 1994, then they launched the PS2 in 2000, about 6 years, then they launched the PlayStation 3, 2006, 6 years. It wasn't until the PS3 going into the PS4 that the cycles got much longer. I mean, hell, look at the original Xbox. That will have the date right here, actually. The original Xbox launched November 15th, 2001, and then they released the 360 on November 22nd, 2005. That's a week over 4 years. That's a short lifespan for a console to have. Now, I know things were happening with NVIDIA behind the scenes, and it wasn't a moneymaker for them, or as much of a moneymaker as they wanted. That's why they launched the 360 fairly early. But these long console life cycles we've been seeing recently aren't usually the norm. For people who are younger out there, I know I've brought for people who've been watching me for a long time, you're going to roll your eyes, here we go. But I always think of, like, say someone was 10 when the Xbox 360 came out. This is really depressing to think about, because I remember before the 360 launched and people at my job being hyped and talking about it. If you were 10 in 2005, simple math, you're now 25 or around 25 years old. You went from not even going through puberty to now maybe being married with kids. Think about that for a second. Isn't that weird? So you may not remember the other console generations and how it was normal for a generation to be more than 5 years was the exception, not the rule. I mean, even if you think about it, the Nintendo Entertainment System launched in late 1985. It didn't have a full release until 86, but it launched in 1985 in the States, and then the Super Nintendo came in 1991. So it was like 5 years and change, or around 6, but it was that normal life cycle. Then that the Super Nintendo came out in late 1991, and then Nintendo 64 in late 1996, about 5 years. But whatever, my point being that I know I'm beating to death right now, 5-ish year life cycles are normal. It's not, when it started with the 7th generation, we started seeing these longer life cycles. Obviously, we had the great economic recession that happened in 2008. That stretched out the 7th gen console life cycles. I believe that's part of my theory And then we had the mid-gen upgrades of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X that helped extend this generation as well. But again, to me, a 5-year cycle isn't shocking. That's what it always really used to be. What interests me more is that Sony feels there's going to be a PlayStation 6. I remember being very bullish about this and thinking that the 8th gen consoles, and a lot of other people thought it too, in my defense, but I was wrong, very wrong, that the 8th gen consoles are going to be the last generation of conventional consoles. Now we're going on to another generation of conventional consoles, and now there's already murmurs that there's going to be another generation of conventional consoles after this upcoming one, which I'm happy about. I don't want everything to become cloud gaming. I don't want us just to be gaming in the cloud because, you know, after my experience, Google Stadia actually wasn't that bad, but it still, I wouldn't want it to replace a console. So after my experience with Google Stadia and then the disaster that was GeForce Now, where they had a bunch of games on the platform, then they pulled them and it was a mess, I want to have actual console in my house that has the GPU and CPU power in my house. I don't want a game in the cloud, because we've seen the repercussions and how crappy cloud gaming can be. And I'm hoping that the train wreck that Stadia and GeForce Now became keep cloud gaming deep in the future. Far away. Just stay away. I like my games in my home, whether it be on a disc or downloaded to my hard drive. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.